So let's have some fun on this Friday at Donald Trump's expense and talk about the new federal grand jury investigation that was just opened into Donald Trump's theft of top secret government documents that he had boxed up and shipped off to Mar-a-Lago, or as I like to call it, Papergate. Friends, this one has legs. Let's talk about it, because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So let's have a little bit of fun today, because there is a good development on the justice front. A federal grand jury investigation has been opened into Donald Trump's theft of government documents, including top secret materials that he had boxed up and shipped down to his Florida retirement home at Mar-a-Lago. And I want to start with the headline in a Vanity Fair piece, with kudos to the author, political correspondent Bess Levin. Headline in that Vanity Fair article: Trump's little classified documents scandal is getting the grand jury treatment. And that article begins, earlier this year, we learned that Donald Trump has a big problem with paper, hence Papergate. Specifically, presidential documents which he, 1, regularly shredded, 2, possibly, even reportedly, flushed down the toilet, and 3, took to Mar-a-Lago despite the fact that he definitely was not supposed to, on account of them being both federal property and in some cases marked top secret. And apparently the Department of Justice thinks that last little nasty habit is worth looking into. The New York Times reports that federal prosecutors have launched a grand jury investigation into the handling of the classified documents that made their way to the ex-president's home. You know, his retirement home at Mar-a-Lago. And the article goes on to report that federal prosecutors are in the process of interviewing White House employees and presenting them to the grand jury. Friends, this is a good story. Let me tell you why. When federal prosecutors interview and present to the grand jury witnesses like White House employees, let me tell you what that looks like. You know, a federal grand jury appearance really has a way of focusing a witness's mind. When grand jury investigations are done well, honorably, ethically, thoroughly, aggressively, they're beautiful things, because they have a way at getting at the truth of criminal wrongdoing. You know, witnesses often don't want to testify before grand juries. Sometimes it's just a fear of sitting in front of 16 to 23 people and having to testify under oath about the crimes of others. That's not easy. Sometimes the witness is fiercely loyal to the bad guy, the target of the investigation, or afraid of the bad guy, and we have ways to help witnesses get through that fear and to protect them if need be. Sometimes the witnesses have their own criminal exposure for their own wrongdoing. We'll talk about what that might look like in a minute. And we have ways to deal with that, like granting the witness immunity so they can testify about the bigger criminal fish. But when grand jury investigations are done right, they are powerful tools at getting at the truth. What we try to do when we put witnesses, reluctant witnesses, combative witnesses, evasive witnesses, deceptive witnesses in the grand jury, what we try to do is break them. I don't mean in a mean way, in an improper way. Break a witness means, it's a term of art in the practice of criminal law, it means get them to tell the truth, even if they desperately don't want to. I can't tell you, folks, how many hours I spent in grand juries in Washington, D.C. in my decades as a federal prosecutor. I spent a lot. And frankly, I miss it. It's a really important and vibrant part of our criminal practice in the courts of Washington, D.C. Let me now turn to my view of these White House employees who are being interviewed and grand juried by federal prosecutors in connection with the Papergate investigation. Think about this, friends. You know, our inclination is to say, oh, but how can we prove Donald Trump himself is really responsible for stealing all these government documents that he had absolutely no right? It was a crime to have them boxed up and shipped to Mar-a-Lago. How can we prove he was responsible? Here's how. Frankly, with the grand jury, with the assistance of the sort of mind-focusing effect of a grand jury appearance. Do you really think that these, White House lackeys and lapdogs who boxed up all of these government documents, classified information, top secret materials, do you think they made the decision about what to take to Mar-a-Lago? Come on now. Can't you see Donald Trump saying to his lackeys and lapdogs as he's leaving the Oval Office, I want that, box up that, I can exploit that, I can leverage that, I can sell that, I can give that to Putin to please my handler, box it all up. Get it down to Mar-a-Lago. But Mr. President, that's a crime. I don't care. Do it. Can't you just see it playing out that way? Do you really think these lackeys and lapdogs made the decision themselves to take top secret materials and send them down to Mar-a-Lago? No. That's why this federal grand jury investigation is so dang important. So this is a good news story on the justice front. And I feel like, justice is gaining a little bit of momentum. It's gathering a little speed, with stories like the 5 members of Congress, the seditious 5, some of Donald Trump's co-conspirators, McCarthy, Jordan, Brooks, Perry, Biggs, being subpoenaed to testify before the January 6th committee, putting them in a delicious trick bag, as I discussed in yesterday's video, and with the January 6th public hearings, Insurrection, the movie, preparing to kick off on June 9th, I feel like things are beginning to move. Can I see justice on the horizon? Maybe if I pull out my binoculars, adjust them just so, maybe we can see justice coming. And justice matters. I think we're going to get there. Hang tough, friends. This is not easy. As always, please stay safe. Please stay tuned. And I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.